I saw her at the bar mitzvah for a son of a workfellow, standing by the acne-faced boy with the tefillin on his arm, and I was lost in a titillating gaze with a twisted heart, before I knew if she had an ounce of teasing feminine charm. This conquest was like crossing the desert without knowing the stars. But my heated up body was stiff like a vertical tower, without genuinely knowing its blunt beginning or the end, when her galvanizing face and her body did overpower. I approached her with the self-serving pathway of salacious slime as the rabbi was setting up for the playful festivities, and it turned out she was a co-worker of the lucky mother, and claimed that she could think of better diverting activities. We sneaked off upstairs into a falling apart library room, where there were old books on the Holocaust and the Warsaw Ghetto, and we figured we could not be heard over the loud merriment, as a man was singing a flashy Hebrew song in falsetto. Now, I have frankly never been a profound religious man, so I did not feel like a bedraggled, egotistical dog, for her enticing mouth was the religious gateway to heaven, even if it was in an artful, antiquated synagogue. Our tongues were dancing the tango and sacred oral traditions, like colliding, palpitating waves melting together, caressing, soothing my impassioned soul with her passionate recognition, while through the shaky floorboards hearing a scroll of parchment blessing. There was no need for sacred religious mass considerations when hearing oral Judaism lessons taught symbolically, wrapping pornographic scriptures thoughts around her with great, unexceeded, unworldly, intimate ferocity. We heard the deeply religious voices lifted up when singing, and I recognized the Hebrew language from the scroll of fire. But I was praising her hot, glorious, exquisite melody of two intertwined by aesthetical sexual desire. There was incomprehensible heavenly pleasure in my skin that shook me to my invulnerable worship divine bones, as pious bare naked reality separated in half when finding the hot reverent, sensual, erogenous zones. There was an exhilarating racy element of danger, for someone religious or omnipotent God could be lurking. But I never believed in diabolical Lucifer hell, especially the way my playful, tender body was working. My unclothed body was absolutely functional and perfect, as if immaculate God gave me his spiritual blessing. For it is said he created ideal sexual desire before sinful Adam and Eve were undressing and caressing. Sexual conquest had never been better by dedications, intermixing religious ceremony with that liaison. As I blessed the name of Moses and all major Hebrew prophets, the Jewish interpreters of God and the kings of Babylon. Rituals of the bar mitzvah ceremony went on as planned, as two sexual humans above the observance were clasping. But the antique floorboards broke, and we fell before an audience, leaving the whole crowd, regardless of affiliation, gasping. I forgot to take off my traditional skull cap yarmulke when engaging in the ceremony of the sexual act, as we interrupted some written and spoken prayers in Hebrew. and the temple floor in the sanctuary was, by bad luck, cracked. Some were, not surprisingly, appalled and quickly yelled out, "Oy vey!" But others simply shook their heads or approvingly nodded, while the not-so-naive younger ones were fidgety and laughing, and the crusted, knowledgeable, practiced older ones applauded. My ex-friend was understandably outraged and called me a schmuck, as my rights to come back to the old synagogue were suspended, while her friend gave her the thumbs up, even though it was not kosher. As the laughter died down and the unforeseen confusion ended, but the wise child said, "I thought this bar mitzvah would be boring." And then he gracefully turned to me and said, "Please have no regret." And then he turned to the audience and said, "They have made this day fun." And his last sentence was, "This is a day I will never forget." The child was right to express his new strong masculine power as his wise pathway to sacred mannish maturity began. For fearless he was the sensible one who was most logical on his lovely Jewish religious day of becoming a man.